Look, don't be a cutie pie, okay?
Good afternoon or evening. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thought I would do a quick update for you guys on this Wednesday morning. Hey, before I do that, if you're new to my YouTube channel, why not hit the subscribe button down there? Press the bell symbol, give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, but thumbs up's better. And drop me a comment below and then share it with somebody else. Hey, lastly as well, I have a free gift, a 3-hour teaching on how to hear God's voice that I'd love to give to you when you subscribe to our email newsletter. So there'll be a link below in the show notes for that. Good. How's life, guys? Well, it is Wednesday morning here, June the 24th in Massachusetts. What's going on? Leah is in Europe. She flew, she had a really long, crazy trip. She left Sunday. I think it took her nearly 2 days to get there. Flew into Dublin, had to spend the whole day in Dublin. Then she flew into Amsterdam, Holland, and spent the night there. And then yesterday into Lyon, a city I used to live in the south of France. So she is with family now in the south of France, and we'll be doing some work on the home we bought there about 6 months ago, just before the COVID thing hit. And yeah, so dealing with French workmen. It's always fun. Hey, I value your prayers as well. I still have Noah and Dylan here, and they're planning to fly to Europe mid-July, but the Europeans may not allow people from the United States because of the rise in COVID numbers here to travel to Europe this summer. So they are looking at taking a decision on that this week. So value your prayers for that. Yeah. Well, I'm going to have a productive summer. I'm basically staying put here. I'm going to do a bunch of work and just move some projects forward. But hey, I had something real quick I wanted to share with you guys as well today that I think in a way is really important. I think this is true biblically, but if it isn't, it's my idea. But you know, I think Satan has strategies that he unleashes in seasons. It's like he has different attacks in different seasons. And you know, there are times when he tries to just lull us to sleep, and times he tries to distract us. If there's one attack I see happening right now, especially in the United States, really unleashed on the nation, but it also seems to work at a micro level in individuals. It's strife. I think we're seeing a real unleashing of like a spirit of strife. You know, it's interesting in some nations when the COVID thing hit, it's like the whole nation came together and unified, and like the Second World War Churchillian thing, and thought we'll stay together and fight the enemy. And I've seen Satan bring so much division in this nation. You know, without getting into the details, I think some of the racial issues we've seen in the last few weeks, there's a part of that is righteous, that we need to address inequalities and stand up for justice. There's a good part of that. But there's also a part of it where strife gets in between people. And instead of the nation unifying, I think everybody agrees that the kind of conduct we saw you know, on some of these videos are disgraceful. That is not who we are. But rather than trying to unify and saying, let's do these things to change that, it's like we're seeing the spirit of strife and division come in amongst people as well. And frankly, as a pastor, I'm seeing the same thing, not amongst most Christians, but amongst some immature believers. You know, when a lion attacks let's say a herd of antelope, he doesn't just attack everyone. He picks off the weaker ones, the slower ones, the more vulnerable ones. And while the others escape, he picks off those who he can. And the Bible says that in, where is it? 1 Peter 5:8 says, be sober, be vigilant, for your enemy, Satan, roams about like a roaring lion. He's not a lion, he's not Aslan, but he pretends he is, seeking those whom he may devour. One thing I've learned in my Christian life is I can't stop Satan devouring people, but I can stop him devouring me, and I'm going to try to stop him devouring you. So it's like we can't stop certain things happening. When Jesus comes back, the true lion will lay down with the lamb, and Satan will be thrown into the lake of fire for eternity. But my point is, until that time, how do we protect ourselves? We be sober, we be vigilant, we be aware. We don't allow those things to get near us. And strife is It really is like that. James says in James 3:16, where there is strife, there is confusion, and every evil work, every evil imaginable flows from strife. And I have learned in my life the hard way, as many of you have, that there's no good strife. Anytime anybody ever tries to get me into strife, I say no, I'm just not doing it. The Bible says the servant of the Lord must not strive. And Satan will roam about and he tries to find entry points. He tries to find, the Bible says, give no place to the devil. He tries to find areas where he can put enmity. When you take the underground in London, there's a big message that plays as the train pulls in. It says, mind the gap, mind the gap. And I think Satan tries to find a gap in our life that he can fill with strife. And how do we not fall into that trap? Let me give you a few quick ideas today that I was just jotting down for a message. Number one, live sober. Now, sobriety is probably a good thing anyway. You know, if you're from France, as I lived in many years, I have no problem with a glass of red wine with a meal, something like that. But I'm actually not talking about alcohol or cigarettes or joints or whatever here. I'm actually talking about, why should we be sober? You know, when you're not sober, when you're under the influence of something, you literally, that's why you can't drive well. You can't conduct yourself well. And when we allow things like strife into us, it's like we literally become like drunk people. We do what we would not normally do. It's funny, I had somebody contact me the other day who should be an amazing person, a woman of God, a worship leader, whatever, and they, vitriol, gossip, judgment is just pouring out of this person. And I had to say to them, like, I'm not even going to address these things because the issue is Satan's found a foothold and allowed strife between this person and another person. And how do we not get there? We be sober, we be vigilant, we be diligent, we watch out for those things. Secondly, don't feed yourself on strife. I say this with great love, but the news media, frankly, especially here in America, it's true in some other nations as well. If CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and a few others, if all they did was tell you the news, they would have a blank screen about 23 and a half hours every day. You know, every day I'll get the Wall Street Journal or the FT in Europe and I read the news. There's not that much news going on. You can get the news in about 5 minutes every day. And here's my thing, they have a product they're selling and the product is strife. There's an old saying in a poker that if you can't see who the mark is, if you're in a game of poker and you don't know who the weak person is, it's probably you. And when you're watching news, all of this kind of stuff, social media is the same in many ways. You are the product. You are the product, and they are not a public service to keep you informed, to help you connect with your long-lost relatives. They actually want to generate enough strife that will keep you buying the product. If it's social media or the news media, they really want to keep you engaged. They want to keep you mad, keep you angry, keep you watching the Punch and Judy show, and then they'll show you some commercials that they can get money for. That's the game. And my point is, sure, use those things. I use social media on my terms, but I'm not going to use it on their terms. And my point is, guard against strife. Good. Hey, one last thought here today, how we can win over strife. It's really simple. Psychologists talk about a fight or flight mechanism. Fight or flight. And really that means when we come under strife or stress, really similar thing. Stress is usually our emotional response to strife. When we come under stress or strife, what we usually want to do, especially in our unrenewed mind, is we want to fight or we want to flight. Somebody accuses us. I just said, somebody wrote me, it's great, Sunday I work my behind off, I'm driving my wife to the airport and somebody writes me all these nasty judgmental things. What do? In my flesh, I want to fight back. I want to say, how dare you say this? Or I just want to run. I want to say, I don't want to be a pastor. I'm going to go to Hawaii and surf or something like that, I'm going to go start a vineyard in France or something. Fight or flight. And God's answer, I call it the 3 F's. God doesn't want us to fight and he doesn't want us to run, to flight. What he wants us to do is find favor, grace. And there's a place of grace. The Bible says, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good, that which edifies, that which builds up. It's what the prophetic is. And it ministers and releases grace to the hearer. And whenever you find yourself in one of those should I fight, should I flight scenarios, the real key is keep speaking favor. Lord, I bless this person. Lord, they're not in the place of maturity to find enough grace for themselves. So I get too much grace. I cover them with your grace. I don't want to be like Noah's two sons who came into the tent in Genesis and pointed out the sin, the weakness, the failings, the lack of sobriety in that person. Rather, what I want to do is have enough spare grace on my life. I want to overflow with grace that I can come in. You know, guys, I dare to believe that love covers a multitude of sins. Selah. So there's always a place of grace. When Satan attacks us, we should step into authority. When people attack us, step into grace. Selah. Boom. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm nearly out of battery here, but drop me a line, comment, hit the subscribe button, share this, and check out that offer before, and I will see you below. I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.